so why shouldn't I? Every day I die. Back to the start, another try. I got the time, so why shouldn't I? I've got too much time on my hands. Got too much time on my hands.
What up, y'all? It's the Jokerz Gallery right here on the Fago Lovers Network for another edition of 5-Piece coming at you again. Today, start off the new year, we figured something that would kind of equate with starting off fresh would be to list our top 5 debuts of all time whenever the artists were fresh, just making their first appearances on the fucking CDs, on albums and shit like that. Before we get into the actual countdown, I introduced the panel right here beside me. You got the host of Speak of Clout podcast, Mr. Mike Sears.
Boy, Mike Sears, Speak of Love podcast, Spend the Boys, regular shit. Coming back this Saturday, too. Top 10 DMX songs, y'all.
Hell yeah.
Oh, so.
Don't call it a comeback. And right below me, you got the Larry King of the Underground representing Trife Life for life, Mr. Luke the Goon.
Yeah, I mean, it is for life. That ain't going to come off.
Yeah. Not unless you're getting those fucking laser surgeries like the dude that had the Violent J fucking get up on his face that ruined his life.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. But yeah, man, excited for these. You know, they always say first impressions are everything, and so you know, here we are, first impressions of these artists.
Talking about first impressions before we get into the meat of the show, we had our first ever Goon's Cloud Gallery Underground Music Awards show in the past week. Had a pretty good fucking response to it, man. One of the most popular videos we've done already, and it's just been up for a couple of days. Shout out to all the artists that actually took the time to fucking film some videos for us. No, we just actually heard from Gmo today, gonna get his award out, so be hearing from him. Cody Manson gonna get his award out to him shortly. So it was dope to know that the artists that didn't get the awards actually wanted them, because I was like, I don't know these motherfuckers we even want these fucking things or anything. They're just gonna tell us to fuck off. I want it, but pretty much every artist that won is accepted the award, so that's pretty fucking dope. And shout out to everybody that tuned in live. Shout out to Buckshot, man. He helped really promote that fucking thing. I think even on his fucking actual Buckshot Twitter, he like put out a tweet like reminding everybody when the shit was coming on. So shout out to everybody, man. That shit was super fun. So I wanted to bring that up. What y'all think about it? Y'all have as good time as I did?
I thought it was dope, man. I had a blast. You know what I'm saying? Very interesting. You know, dope, man.
Interesting is a good way to put it.
Yeah,
man, it was a lot of fun. I mean, you know, a little bit of controversy here and there over picks, but you know, hey, it's what happens, man. Everybody's got their horse they want to win. You know what I mean? As long as everybody's respectful about it, it's all good, man. Yeah. You know, I mean, next year we got a couple more categories I think we're going to throw in the mix. People's Choice is a big one. I know people probably want that one, so that'll definitely be a one for next year as well.
Producer of the Year, I think, was the other one that some viewer brought up while they were watching the actual show. So like we said, whenever it's live, whenever we go live, jump in the fucking chat and fucking throw out ideals to us, man. We see that shit, and all we did was simply see a fucking comment in the fucking live chat, and next year there will be a Producer of the Year because of that. We might have not thought of it if fucking whoever brought it up didn't bring it up. So yeah, definitely jump in the live chats whenever we're live. I already talked about it. The year's starting off fresh, so might as well start off the 5-piece year. We're talking about fresh albums when people first debuted. Whenever I think about debut albums, I really think about that era circa like 1999 to 2001, 2002 in the Juggalo scene, where fucking just everything was coming out. Everything was new other than ICP and Twisted. Like everything they put out after that was fucking new fucking shit. So whenever I think about the best era for just new acts coming out, I would think about then. And then I almost kind of think it's having a renaissance in 2021, 2020, whenever you look at it with all this fucking good music that's fucking coming out from under the underground. So I think it's kind of come back around full circle now to me. What do you think about it, Mike?
I think it has, man. Like, you know, hearing Fun Time for the first time, Zoo for the first time, it's just those artists remind me of the shit that we were just talking about, you know what I'm saying, back in the day. So yeah, it is full circle to me, you know.
You sprinkle in those other artists like Cody Manson jumping off, Fams and the Hooligans, you got Buckshot, just everybody's putting out fucking really good music. So it really, today really reminds me of the first time that it actually felt like 99 to 2002, like I was talking about. That's dope to see. I think the Catacombs might have a little bit to do with that. I think Luke knows about the Catacombs.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's why it started, you know, because all this dope shit was coming out. Max was starting to put out some dope ass singles and shit. Fams dropped the 2 and the 6. Cody Psychoactive, SON was getting ready to put out his new album. yeah, I mean, that was what, got my wheels turning about, what can I do to help the movement go? You know what I'm saying? And, what you were saying about like 99, 2000, it was like, that was when, that was like when Jekyll Brothers had dropped, and it was like everybody was ready for that 6th card to drop. And I think that was a big part of it. We've talked about that magic before, you know what I mean? That anticipation, like, what is the 6 going to be? So it was like, it was the best time, in my opinion, to be a Juggalo, because there wasn't like a lot of hater shit at that point. And it was like everybody that you knew that was a Juggalo, they were there for the music. They were fucking 100% a Juggalo. It was, back then you saw somebody with an ICP shirt on, you were like, what the fuck is up? You know what I mean? Like nowadays, if I see somebody with a Juggalo shirt in public, I'm not going to say nothing maybe that's just me. But like back in the day, man, it was like, if I saw somebody with an ICP shirt, I was dabbing them up. You know what I mean?
Likewise.
And you see somebody with like a dope one, like a rocking like a Go Malenko hockey jersey at 98. You think that dude's like a celebrity? Like, is this fucking dude work for Psychopathic? What the fuck?
Yeah. It was a fucking magical time, man. And like, like you were saying, like the reason I'm back in this shit, doing this shit right now is because of Zool. You know what I mean? Because they pulled me really far back in, because they reminded me of those times. You know what I mean? Kind of a small movement of people, the Zooligans basically, that were like really fucking behind, and they had the music to go with it. So yeah, man, exciting times once again.
Hell yeah. We'll talk about several of those albums that came out on the countdown, so go ahead and get it started with my 5 spot. The 5 spot for me, Psychopathic Riders, Dumpin'.
Yeah, motherfucker, you got the album. Now me, Bullet, Fofo, Cell Block, Full Clip, and I'm Lil Shank. This Psychopathic Riders, motherfucker. Cut them all out when the busters foul. Pop, pop, baby, pop, that be the sound. Low down with the monster hum. Bucket with the monster pump. Jump, jump on the ground with the riders on. Pump, pump on the bucket when the target is on. At your funeral you dead, but that ain't nothing. Best bet, badass, bullet beat dumping. From the east side out to the southwest. Psychopathic riders putting slugs in your chest. Bitch, throw the bunny, move heads down. You don't wanna see me clown, motherfucker. Psychopathic riders, dumping. Psychopathic riders, hey. Psychopathic riders, dumping. Psychopathic riders, hey. We doing ride-bys, old freestyle bites. I hit a wheelie on the lawn and bust it out on sight. I give a fuck, bitch. Talk shit and get clipped. Knock your fucking teeth through your lip. Yeah. Acting wild as fuck, cause my jam came on. And you know thug niggas gotta sing that song. I got 18 shots, and I won't miss once. All black trucks with the bumps, shooting out the window every single time the wind blow. Blazing up another bag of endo. Fofo be the alias, run up on your bare faces so you're scared of us. Psychopathic riders, dumping. Psychopathic riders, hey. Psychopathic riders, dumping. Psychopathic riders, hey.
I remember it was only supposed to be available, I think, at shows, like at the merch table, and then it was going to be, I think they were going to give it away at the first gathering that didn't happen. The one that's supposed to be in St. Louis. Whenever you called us a number, you got the date for the first ever gathering they were going to have. They were going to give away dumping to everybody that showed up, and they were supposed to have like all the fucking past merch and shit, but it ended up not going down, and they moved it from St. Louis to Novi for the first one. And speaking of, at that first gathering, the Riders performed, and I mean, the only fucking album they got is Dumpin'. So everybody's, every song on there I know by heart, because I actually lucked out and found it. Like, I don't know, my fucking FYE, it was called Disc Jockey at the time. They had it, and they had Psychopathics from Outer Space. I don't know how they got those albums. It was before it got any kind of distribution. It was when it was still supposed to just be at shows, but I just fucking happened to find it. So by the time I got to the gathering, I knew every word to Dumpin' and sang along with it. Fucking Misery was still there, man. It was fucking super dope to see the original Riders like performing their fucking debut album. And that debut album for me from the Riders is still probably my favorite Riders album. So I'll put that at my 5 spot.
For me, it's Riding Dirty, but Dumping is fucking amazing. I got Dumping at the first gathering from my boy Steven Oliveira. Shout out to him. He got me that, Blaze EP, and Psychopathic from Outer Space.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't remember too much about all that, but I do remember I bought it. I think I got it in like Psychopathic merch at the time or whatever. I just remember I ordered that, and I think Psychopathic from Outer Space maybe at the same time. the Joe and Joey Records shit.
Yeah.
So that's the most I remember. But yeah, Dumpin's probably my favorite Psychopathic Riders project as well. That shit just was so fucking dope at the time, you know.
Talking about Joe and Joey Records, for anybody that don't know, they made up a record label, so in case they get caught putting out this fucking rap record where they just straight up stole industry beats and didn't pay for them, they couldn't sue Psychopathic. They were going to sue a fucking record label that didn't exist.
Skrilla, money. It's on that fucking Nas Street Dreams, bro.
Street Dreams be that whole album, man. I like every song on that fucking album, so it's definitely got to be on my fucking list. So I'll put it at the 5 spot.
My 5 spot, you going to 1989, the Godfather of this shit. You know I'm going with this. Esham, Booming Words from Hell, man.
Sitting down in a crack house, earning my pay. If some bass head jump crazy, I'll just blow them away. Cause I'm fully wrapped. I ain't taking crack. I got a mini 14 with a shoulder strap. Bass heads had knocked on the door, they just knocked and knocked. My crack quickly disappeared. One rock by rock. I had a couple more to go. But oh no, here comes the big O, busting out the dough. So I kicked out a pistol, jumped the roof next door. Took the money, left the crack, but I'll get more. Jump down off the roof. Cops start popping. All yelling freeze. Who they thought was stopping? Cops on my tail trying to put me in jail. I slipped and I failed. Got up and ran like hell. I was running fast as I can. If you'd have seen me, you'd have said that's the Bionic Man. Yeah, I was gone. This brother had got away. Cause up the block was my homeboy's hideaway. Banged on the door, he let me into his crib. Then I told him about the police and what they did. He gave the key to his ride and I was back on the move. Jumped into his vet and kicked the groove. You see, crime is life and life is crime. But what will life be without a real life rhyme? Not real life. Cruising around town and the bass is up. Running big time lights, I don't give a fuck. Sink the police, put the pedal to the metal. The pictures on my tail because the speakers rock the ghetto. I knew they was suspicious cause the track was moving fast. They not gonna give me left, they pop my ass. Burn big time rubber on 7 Mile. I was driving like a drunk, cold, acting wild. Slammed on the brakes, pressed on the gas. Just around the corner, cold lost they ass. Must have moved to my crib to change my clothes. And since I got away from the cops, I'm screaming, fuck them hoes. Then I stepped outside, jumped into my ride. Synced a couple of bases hanging out at the bar. Pulled over and parked, showed a sample rock. Had all the bass heads on my jock. A crack fiend got ill and tried to snatch my cane. Whipped out my mag, blew out his brain.
Without this record, there's none of this shit. Straight the fuck up. This album is amazing. 16 years old, spitting that wicked shit. Esham's booming. You know, sit down and my crack has earning my pay. The bass heads are crazy. I'm gonna blow them away. You know, oh man, classic, man. You can see like the Ice-T influence on this album. If you want to get this album physically, I would go with the remaster because you get the red tape, the tracks that was not on the original CD press, and some like 2 bonus tracks, I think, and it sounds amazing. They remastered this for Esham, did a great job. You know, my favorite song in here is For All the Suicidalists, man. That shit's hard, you know. But Pussy Ain't Got No Face, you know what I'm saying? 16-year-old just rapping that wicked shit.
Say he was like 16 years old. It reminds me of that meme of that kid that was like, he's like in his room, he's got his phone hanging up upside down, and it's like something like he's recording a diss to me after I made him clean his room or whatever the shit.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that shit, like Esham like fucking in his room, like rapping about some devil shit. Like shit's crazy, man. Shit.
Amazing album, man. Booming Words from Hell, Esham. Classic. It's not my favorite Esham album, but it has to be on here for debuts, man. Yep. Esham, Booming Words from Hell, 89.
I definitely agree with your statement that we wouldn't be here if that album didn't come out, because that dude fucking influenced everything ICP did. That
Facts.
Carnival Carnage, which you can see on the screen behind us, that debut didn't come out till after that album. So ICP was definitely heavily influenced. And I mean, it's not like it's a secret. Jay and Shaggy have both said it numerous times. So for sure, that album's so big in this fucking scene, it's got to be on the list.
Definitely. And Jay's rapping like him on like definitely on Carnival and Beverly Hills. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Amazing.
All right, yeah, my number 5, probably should be no surprise. I'm wearing the goddamn shirt. It's the Head of Horns, AXC.
Yeah. I am nothing but a man filled with evil thoughts. To hell we go, holding hands. It's even odds. I see so many, feel they need to rot. I put that barrel in their face, it's like they're seeing God. Somehow, I feel as if I'm pursuing a moment of gratification right now. Dragging your body into the basement, better yet, to second it might end in a blaze of glory. I know Satan's waiting for me, but it's hunky-dory, cutting you up into chunks, it's gory, dumping them into the trunk for sorting. My life, I'm trying to set them pieces straight, but it's impossible when all you believe is hate. Who you call upon, who you praying to? All my life I feel I'm crawling just to make it through. I don't think you wanna go where I'ma take us to. I don't think you wanna go where I'ma take us. Who you call upon, who you praying to? All my life I feel I'm crawling just to make it through. I don't think you wanna go where I'ma take us to. I don't think you wanna go.
Blame the Music is probably one of my favorite tracks on there. Paper Mache, Zombie. I love fucking Zombie. That's one of my fucking favorites. Letters from Hell. That was a fucking song that they performed for a long fucking time.
That's that boom bap, boy.
Yeah. Sold My Soul. Another fucking dope. I mean, pretty much every track on here is fucking dope as shit. Fallen, Crawling. A lot of dope shit on that record. Good luck getting your hands on a OG pressing of that album as well. It's crazy hard to get up, but even a copy now is kind of hard to get a hold of because they reorder it and they fucking sell out. So kind of got to get lucky to get a copy of that. But yeah, AXC's debut, dope.
They re-released it in black and white as well. I never picked that up.
There's like 3 pressings, I think, of it.
Yeah.
The OG, then they repressed it again. In like purple, and I think the second pressing is purple
and green.
Yeah. I think that's the second pressing. I don't know. I'm not an expert at the pressings of this copy, but then the last one that they repressed is like the black and white version. Yeah,
it's the AXC. Ala Zulu. Fuck you. It's that's just hard, bro.
It's dope, and it's obviously before they had Lee Carver, so it's kind of, I mean, obviously it's like their Carnival Carnage, their debut album, where it's like they're still figuring out their sound. They're still kind of figuring out where they're going to go.
That's what I was thinking when you were talking about like the OG press and shit. That reminds me of like Carnival Carnage days. People used to talk about how there's multiple OG pressings, and every time, fucking one's worth fucking 1,000, one's worth 500. It's so crazy how much just that first pressing and then the earlier the pressing. What do you think a fucking head of horns would go for? The OG, what do you think it goes for these days?
I don't know. I've heard ridiculous numbers, and there's a dispute about how many copies there are, because for the longest time I'd always heard that there were like only 10 copies pressed.
Oh shit!
But then there's more there. But I was talking to my homie SON, who back then went by Scrub King. He ran with them heavy back then, and he used to have 2 copies.
Oh man!
And he's telling me like, no man, there were way more than 10 copies pressed. So I mean, I'm probably like 50 to 100 copies pressed, I imagine. But
I would say 100.
Yeah, how many of those are out in the wild now? Who knows? Because back then they were just doing small shows, and people lose CDs and toss them in their car, whatever, lose them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say, especially like how stuff's priced now. But I mean, for a long time, people were like, "Oh, $500," but I mean, it's worth what somebody's willing to pay for it, I guess. A couple $100, I'd say at least.
I got mine off the museum. Good, brother, my bad.
So it really is like their Carnival Carnage. That shit's worth fucking a mad amount of cheese for the OG pressing, and there's not a lot of them to go around. Also makes me think of Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat from Slipknot. Like I think they pressed up like 1,000 of those back in the day before they blew up, and now that fucking thing's worth multiple thousands of dollars for the people that has that shit. So it's always cool whenever a fucking album is super rare because the group hasn't been around that long or popular, and then they blow up, and then you go back and that fucking first album that the fans had that were with them back then, man, that shit, you get paid off in fucking spades, whatever. You've been rolling with a crew and you got a bunch of, like, if your homie SON still had those 2 copies, that dude buy a car probably from what those fuck 2 things fucking are worth now. So just imagine that shit. Moving up to my 4th spot now with one from the magical era, as I was talking about, Blaze, One Less G in the Hood.
Who wanna fuck with the unbeatable? Dead man, body count deeper than a Vietnam veteran. So what you looking at? So what I'm dead, bitch. Got the 20/40 vision with a slight twitch, and I dump a whole clip in your neck, though. So when you fucking with a G, so respect, ho. I keep ticking like a Timex piece. This is my motherfucking hood, my motherfucking streets. Fuck police in each and every state. All they do
as soon as I heard it, man, I was like, this dude's gonna fucking work on Psychopathic, because I know fucking other juggalos listening to hip hop besides me. Like everybody fucking listened to Snoop Dogg and fucking Dr. Dre. Fucking had like that. Blaze always had that West Coast vibe to me. So even though it was fucking from Michigan, it sounded like the fucking shit that like Death Row was putting out back in the day, and fucking Too Short and shit like that, and E40. So I immediately fucking connected to Blaze. So I'll put that one on my list for sure. So I'll put it at the 4th spot. One Less G in the Hood.
Masterpiece. Straight up.
Yeah, it's back from the fucking when they were just putting out bangers and shit, like out of Psychopath. Like you said, when they were in the Matrix and shit or whatever, like that was one of those records.
Might be my favorite Blaze look as well. It was just so grimy looking.
Yeah.
Like he was telling about it on the Fago Lovers interview he did with Scotty. Like he literally scared people. Like people didn't know what to make of this dude because he had like he put black on his teeth and shit, so he looked like his teeth were all jagged. Like dude was crazy looking.
And
He's
what's
tall
so dope?
he's tall as fuck too.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
I burned on an L with him at Gathering 04 too. So yeah. What's dope about Blaze, you know, the whole storyline is he passed in '89, you know. So he's rapping like the NWA type steez, like the same rhyme scheme. He's rhyming like them.
Rocking the Raiders hats and shit like they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a dope ass gimmick, man. Like everything worked perfectly. I don't know who ideal it was, or if it was worked on by everybody that was in Psychopathic at the time, but whoever put that together, man, they came up with a really fucking good gimmick. Like, and that gimmick's not even still now. Like that, he still can fucking just put out some songs about fucking like that I'm a G song that he put out, the lead single from Cadaver or whatever. That song was fucking fire. It sounded like old school fucking Blaze. It was just gangsta ass fucking Blaze. That appearance he did with Super Famous on Squad Up where he jumps on there, man, that sounded like it was recorded in 2002 to me. Like that sounded like old school fucking Blaze. So it's still fucking a fresh ass gimmick even fuck 20 plus years later. So I gotta have it on my list. I'll put it at the 4th spot.
Yeah. My 4th spot maybe a little low. You know, I love this album to death. You always talk about it. Debut from Insane Clown Posse. Carnival Carnage.
Wow.
First I was born young and healthy. I told my mother one day I'd be wealthy. Can't forget my first day at school. Got stabbed in the head with a pencil, but it's cool. Get my education, a job and a family, a good reputation. And what about grade 2? Got shot in the neck and the bullet went straight through. But I'm packing a textbook. Don't fuck with me, cause I'm going to grade 3. Thank God it's lunch in a minute. Bit into my hot dog with a razor blade in it, and it cut my tongue off. But I know how to multiply, so what's up, boss? Finally had to step out. I dropped out of school when they ripped my neck out. Who knows where the road led? Seen a man with a briefcase, but no head. So I'm like, fuck that. Show me a quarter and an ounce of crack, and I'm straighter than a fucking light post. I sold a lot of crack, but I bought the most. Now I'm a bass head down on my luck, roaming the streets and got hit by a Mack truck and thrown about a block. But I'm thinking nothing but give me a rock. Holding my sign, I'll work for crack, with my old ass ET shirt on my back. And I'm sleeping in a gutter, right next to Jamtown's mudder. I'm eating dead rats in the street. I keep on checking for my own heartbeat. Now I'm weighing at $1.05. Twitchy little neck and I'm barely alive. Got my first taste of life in hell. I ate a dead man, shh, but don't tell. Excuse me, sir, can you spare some change? I'll cut your face off and eat your brains. You know all about me. You act like you ain't never seen penitentiary.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of 47 counts of first-degree murder.
Very well, Mr. Bruce. Do you have any last words before your sentence?
Yeah, your mother.
Yeah. The albums I was like better than this, man.
Yeah, I'm like, damn.
Yeah,
Luke's about to go put on his Carnival Carnage fucking jersey again and sock cap.
Don't make me like.
that's that OG boy.
Oh shit! Oh yeah.
You know, like, come on, man. Night of the Axe, the Juggler, Psychopathic, Black in Your Eyes, you know, John Kick Jazz and Shaggy going back and forth. Rebel Flag, Ghetto Fear. Every song is dope. I like every single song in Carnival Carnage, bro. Like, they came out the gate with Dog Beats, and the City Posse came back with a full length, the mighty first Jokerz Gallery Carnival Carnage. To me, it's flawless. Love it. This is like a game changer right here, man. Beyond classic, and probably one of the most illest designs for a Joker's card. That's just fire, yo. Yeah, I can't get enough of Carnival Carnage. I love Carnival Carnage more than most. I know y'all do too. You know, so.
Yeah, you talk about that design being classic. That thing's like a forever face. You can put 2 colors on that fucking design right there, and it's gonna look dope. Put it 2 colors and then on a fucking different colored T-shirt behind it, like that shit's gonna look dope no matter what colors it is. It's fucking. It might be my favorite fucking Joker card design. It's so fucking.
Yeah.
It's got the ICP necklace and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's dope. Yeah. Hell yeah.
And I gotta have that. You gotta have the OG version. That big ass Joker's card image, like the all-in-one. I'm not too keen on, and they don't have Night of the Axe and Black in Your Eyes. So yeah.
And I continue to speculate that's why a lot of juggalos don't like Carnival Carnage. Is because the Carnival Carnage they heard in 98, 99, 2000 when they jumped on, they got the island version that didn't have those 2 fucking songs. Those are arguably the 2 best songs on that fucking album.
Yeah.
So I think the reason that it was 8th in our ranking is because a lot of people heard it without those 2 fucking songs and never went back and got that fucking OG or got the repress that had them all on it and just think of Carnival Carnage as the one missing 2 of arguably the best songs on the fucking album.
The biggest critique I heard, like for instance, my girl, right? She's like, it sounds old. Well, it came out in 92. Fuck, you know what I'm saying? Come on.
Yeah, it's fucking 30 years old.
Yeah. I don't get it.
It's because it is old, goddammit.
Yeah, it's old, man.
But like, I'll agree. I thought it sounded old in '98 the first time I heard it, but now it's so fucking long since 90. You know, it's been 22 years since or 24 years since then. It's went from being sounding old to sounding nostalgic and sounding like the rappers and the fucking songs I liked back in the days in '92 when that shit came out. So yeah, I agree that whenever I first heard it, I was like, man, this is kind of old. I kind of like the newer, more polished shit a little bit better. Yeah. But now once like time has passed, like I said, it went from old to nostalgic, and I fucking love the fuck sound of that album. That and fucking Beverly Kills is probably other than the Riddle Box era, is my favorite like sound of ICP.
Dirty scrub shit, Detroit shit, like.
Had some gangster shit still mixed into it. Had like the I'm broke, like society, you know, kind of like a little bit of commentary on society still. Yeah. Like
I've always said Beverly Kills is like their most like socially conscious like fucking record that they've done.
Yep.
Love Beverly Kills so much.
All right. My number 4 is from that era we were talking about earlier, like 99, 2000. This album came out in 98. It is the Cottonmouth Kings' Royal Highness.
Make some room so these players can play, so we can play on. Now I woke up this morning and I thought about her. Smoked a cigarette and I checked my dirty jaw. Threw on some Dickies and I grabbed my back chain. Sucked it down my waist and I let my pants hang. Beanie on my head just to cover up my lump. The night before got in a fight just cause I was drunk. Grabbed my sack of weed and I loaded up the bomb. Took a rip, held it in, then I coughed up a lung. Burn some incense so I can cover up the smell. An everyday thing that I live to tell. Put on my black ties, covered up my red eyes. If that copper pulls me over, well it's lies. Man, the stereo was on and the CD was bumping. Insane clown posse talking about chicken hunting. Walked up to the fridge, opened it up and grabbed my bread. Picked up the phone, then my and got the crew. Party later on 5 River Jetties. 56th Street, so you know there'll be some betties. Pacific Coast Highway takes me to my destination. Party time, baby, it's a nightly occupation. Stepped up the pad, won't tend to play his band. On the way to Melanin to my brother in the band. There's a smile on your face from a smoothed up style. See you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile. This is the type of drug that we be doing every day. Diddy dotty, diddy dotty, diddy dotty day. Make some moves so these players can play, so we can play on. Now a new day dawning, let's get things started. Hit the bong, wrote a song, took a piss and farted. Did my blue jeans, did some bleaching starches. Mobbing OC, we need the golden arches. Yo, sounds D-Lug, where you at? Saints hung over and he started to yak. Kick out at Mickey D's cause we don't know how to act. Let's call up Kevin's in the hook up 40 cent. Now tonight's the night like DJ Quick. At least 3 parties that we gotta hit. And if the cops show up, we're gonna start some shit. Right time, baby, cop mouth click.
We did a listening party for this whole album because Mike had never heard it up until like a couple weeks ago. over on my channel. I don't know. For me, this is like this has such like late 90s vibes to it. Like it's a super nostalgic album for me. Bong Token Alcoholics, Suburban Life, Life Ain't What It Seems, probably my favorite track. So High, Bump, Dog's Life. The whole fucking record is really fucking dope. These were like, I've said this before, I think Cottonmouth Kings were like maybe the one of only maybe two, including Twisted, that like I listened to outside of ICP. Because like for me, it was like ICP or nothing, but I was like, I like Cottonmouth Kings too, and Twisted's Most Tasteless as well. So it had to have been fucking top notch for me back then to listen to this album as well.
And they got the seal of approval from ICP because they toured with them and shit, and they were on the fucking Pumpkin Carver single and rode with them. And even when they got kicked off the tour, I remember Violent J said it wasn't unpersonal. Like, you know, they still he even like shouted them out on one of the other songs, like, maybe you can do the next tour with us. He's like, I don't know. And then one of the Cottonmouth Kings like, I don't know. He kicked us off the last one. He's like, but tell your sister I said hi. So like they still got along even right immediately after fucking they got kicked off the tour with them. Cause I mean, fuck, they were at the first gathering right after that. So they still got along with them. So they were ICP approved, wearing fucking ICP shirts in the videos, fucking shouting out Insane Clown Posse, talk about chicken hunting and shit like that in the fucking album. So yeah, they fit right along with all the fucking Juggalo shit I was listening to, because I was pretty much Juggalo or nothing at that time too. Move it up to my 3 spot. Just got talked about by Mike, so I ain't got to spend much time on it. Carnival Carnage. It's got to be on the list. It's, like I said, other than the Riddle Box era, it's my favorite sounding era of the Clowns. Old school fucking rap sound. They toss back and forth on the tracks a lot more than they do now. Like and that's my shit. Like, man, the rap group I grew up with was Run DMC. So anytime somebody does the fucking where they're trading in the verses, man, that shit always stands out to me, and I think they do it the most in that era. And we already talked about it, so I ain't got to spend a lot of time on it. Carnival Carnage at the 3 spot for me.
Oh yeah. So we got 3 spot. I already talked about from Brandon, man. Blaze Your Dead Homie. One Less G in the Hood. 2001. The greatest time to be a Juggalo. This is my favorite fucking tour. Hatchet Rising. Just everything is fire on here, man. The only song that's kind of ended me is Maggot Face, but everything else, flawless. Classic album. One of my favorite fucking booklets too, man. I think Jamie did this. I'm not too sure. His artwork. Looks like his work.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that's definitely his. Yeah,
fire. Yeah, man, just that gangster shit, you know, like Jokerz Gallery said, and mixed with the Juggalo shit. Classic. Saturday Afternoon is my favorite play song of all time. Legendary shit. I'll be here all day talking about this record. Banger.
Talk about Madras helping out on the artwork for the CD. Helped out on the fucking album too. You talk about Saturday Afternoon. He's all over that. He's singing a lot of hooks in the album. Twisted's on there a lot. It just sums up that whole early era to me. Whenever I think of, 1999 to 2002 era, that's what I think is like all those dudes working together to make a fucking flawless album. That's what they did with that one.
Oh yeah.
All right, my number 3. Since we're talking about Twisted, bro, Most Tasteless.
Twisted, any insane clown posse, forming a 50-foot Voltron in your ass. Your worst nightmares couldn't fuck with this. Run that I'm rolling with the psychopathic, make a move and shake it drastic, leaving motherfuckers in caskets or wrapped in Reynolds plastic. Cause we psychosomatic and schizophrenic lunatics, holding my balls with your bitch and goals, the tip of my dick. We real sick, bitch. Run and tell a friend, Twisted into the beginning becomes the beginning of the end of the world. Down me a healthy hand of pain and lies, and you can see the hate in my eyes. It's no surprise. It ain't shit, bitch, believe that. Suckers claiming they paid and can't even handle they weed tax. I leave tracks like a needle. You phony as the fifth Beatle. Fuck a Beyond and Dito, rockin' Toledo like a trooper wad, leaving your conscience in a super wad. Fuck a Smith and Wesson, I can grab the Ruger wad, and right before I shoot ya, I snap your
my favorite Twisted album by far. There's like no skippers on this record, really. I mean, Secondhand Smoke, Die Motherfucker Die, Smoke Break. It's a fucking smoke break, but it's fucking dope. Murder, Murder, Murder is my all-time favorite Twisted song.
Same.
Meat Cleaver is so fucking dope. Sheen, Afraid. Renditions of Reality. I mean, I remember like I was part of the Insane Clown Posse mailing list. And so I knew like Twisted was like going to put out this record. And I remember like going to record stores and like trying to find this record. And like every time I go into record store, it'd be like Twista and then fucking nothing. I'm like, God damn. So it took me a while, but I eventually tracked it down, you know, got like the regular. I didn't get like the Fetus cover, none of that shit. It was just the regular fucking one. But, you know, Psychopathic Records wasn't the island version. Yeah, and I fucking love that record. I know like there was a lot of, like back then there were a lot of juggalos who didn't like Twisted. I wasn't like that. Like I fucking heard that record and I was like, this is fucking dope. Which, like I said, was rare back then because I was only listening to ICP. And Cottonmouth King, like I mentioned earlier. But yeah, fucking dope record. My favorite Twisted record, so it had to make my list.
5 Micah right there for me.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it had to be the Psychopathic version as well, because we talked about it before we went on. Like, is Most Tasteless Island release going to be eligible? But now, so many people heard the original, and it's got to be the OG Psychopathic pressing. And it's got Murder, Murder, Murder. I think like 5 out of 10 Juggalos' favorite Twisted songs probably Murder, 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 or at least in their top 5. So that's the one that I would pick too. So speaking of which, at my 2 spot, Most Tasteless by Twisted. As well, so me and Mike could just jump in on the conversations. I've talked about it several times. I went to Hollow Wicket '98. Cottonmouth Kings, ironically enough, supposed to be there. Get kicked off the tour because Saint's fucking crazy. But who happens to do like a little 3-4 song like mini set because they got kicked off? Fucking Twisted. So, and I remember being in the crowd at Harpo's and them two coming out. They're rocking like just the hoodies, no fucking like face mask, no paint, no nothing, just fucking the black hoodies and like I think they're rocking the camo fucking shorts. And just from the first line of fucking Secondhand Smoke, I represent the East Side, no peace, fuck the police. Like I was like, I'm down with these fucking dudes. Yeah. And then like I literally had that line stuck in my head because I didn't know like any Twisted songs other than $85 an hour that was on Forgotten Freshness. And then they were on the Pumpkin Carver CD, which I got. So immediately when I got home from Detroit, I went to like once again Disc Jockey in the mall, and they had that fucking OG Psychopathic pressing. So ever since fucking October of '98, I've been rolling with that shit, and it's fucking a flawless album. Like you said, no skippers for me. And a big thing for me was the weed. You talked about the smoke breaks. It was dope having a fucking weed smoking fucking group on Psychopathic in the Juggalo scene because ICP didn't really rep it that much, and my whole crew smoked weed, so we immediately connected with them motherfuckers because of that. Straight up,
right there, brother.
Right on there.
Yeah, man. $85 an hour from Forgotten Freshness 1 and 2. And like I said before in another episode, I seen the Hocus Pocus video, and I used my brain and said that got to be Twisted right there in the whip with Jay and Shags along with Misery. But yeah, man, classic 5 Micah right here. Luke and Brandon broke it down lovely. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but like Murder, Murder, Murder's on here. Classic. Fucking, they can really rap too on this record. Jesus Christ. Like, this is fire, bro. Die Motherfucker Die. Renditions of Reality, find favorite song on here. Excellent album. Second favorite song, I would say, after Murder, Murder, Murder. But yeah, insane. When this came out in June of '99, I was all about it too. Cause nigga, Hound Dogs, bro. Like, come on.
Rock the Dead. Remember Rock the Dead was like the little clip was on Fatter Wax, so you got like a 30-second snippet of it. You're like, oh my god, this song is fucking fire. Can't wait to hear it.
Love that art too. That's just fucking fire, bro. Yeah, Most Tasteless, my G. Definitely on my list.
Oh, yeah.
Classic.
And because I'm not a fucking hater like these motherfuckers, my number 2 is Carnival Carnage.
After all the shit talking and the dirty looks he was giving us, I thought he was putting it at the 1 spot at least. You only got it 1 spot higher than me, motherfucker.
Come on, man. Number 2. I'm representing for the 17%ers out there. So fuck out of here. I mean, what's been said, it's been said. I mean, my favorites are the Juggler, Redneck Ho, Guts on the Ceiling. Night of the Axe is one of my all-time favorite ICP songs. And there's a song on here that I think some of you motherfuckers have skipped over for fucking years. And it's called Your Rebel Flag. Because fuck your Rebel Flag. There are too many goddamn Juggalos out there repping the Rebel Flag. And it's like, Have you heard Carnival Carnage? Like, there's a song, Your Rebel Flag. There's a shirt, fucking burning the rebel flag. It's like, I don't get it. But yeah,
even if you missed it on Carnival Carnage, they fucking made another song about it on like one of the missing links. Like, figure it out, man.
Come on now. But yeah. Anyway, Carnival Carnage, perfect. I fucking love it. I don't really understand a lot of the. I mean, I guess I understand like how people think it sounds like old school. But yeah, it came out in '92. Like, it is old.
It sounds old the way that Eazy-E sounds old. Awesome.
Yeah. Like if you like
to me,
yeah, like didn't come out in the fucking '60s, guys. Jesus Christ. If you watched our ranking video, you already know I had the whole get up on and shit, like fucking representing for Carnival Carnage. Yeah, fucking dope fucking record. I still listen to these songs all the fucking time.
Absolutely. Likewise.
Replay value is huge on out whenever you're talking about ranking albums. When you've got just the selection that we have for this ranking that we're doing, like replay value is huge on mine, and that leads right into my number one spot. I talked about it. This is the CD I've owned more than any other. I've owned 5 copies of it, 4 which I've bought, and 1 my homie gave to me because I think he got fucked up and scratched it up. I started smoking weed right whenever this album came out, so I lost it. I'd bring it as a party album, so I'd bring it to the party, fucking smoke, forget about it, leave it, fucking put it in my pocket, and it'd get all scratched up. So I ended up with 5 total copies of this fucking album. Mike just heard it. It fucking warmed my heart that Mike loved like this album, because if Mike would have not liked this album, I'd have been like, God damn, that'd been like whenever Roan doesn't like Mausoleum for me, but he liked the album. I thought he would. I've been trying to get you to hear it for like 3 years. Like, you'll like this shit. Royal Highness by Cottonmouth Kings.
This is Kona Gold from the Hawaiian Islands of creation. Mars plantation with the Cottonmouth King burning up the nation.
Don't watch your back, cause we're coming through the front. And when we're on stage, yeah, we're smoking like a blunt. My mind's always tripping, so you know I cannot front. With a cotton mouth, king click ticking, psychedelic punk. Puffing on that blunt, Indo swagger skunk. Southern Cali punks, kicking psychedelic punk.
Shit, it's a damn good day. Got money in the bank, cash in my tank, pays for my dank. Got a new pair of Max, has money for the tax and for the puppy. Heard the Lord, I do thank.
Boom, shit, bang, X is the name. Dirt slay's the game, and I bang boom tang.
It's the first county all-league pimp selection. Bobby B's on the mix with the vinyl injection. Shouldn't to Saint back to sin. Lost was a picture, but I huff paint dinner. Took your woo home and that bitch made me dinner. Rolled a couple business and I went up in. It's the capital D, the LOC. Shit, can't nobody even fuck with me. My style is free, I bangs the P. I tag the circle A for anarchy.
Don't watch your back, cause we're coming through the front. And when we're on stage, yeah, we're smoking like a blunt. My mind's always tripping, so you know I cannot front. With a cotton mouth, king lick kicking psychedelic punk. Puffing on the blunt, Indo swagger skunk. Southern Cali punks, kicking psychedelic punk.
Hot damn, back in my van. Papa pull me over, ask me what's my plan. Bitch sniffing around like 2 cats and what? Blam blam, now it's bacon on the van.
Only album's got Saint Dog on it. I think 8 of my favorite 10 Cottonmouth Kings songs are on this fucking album. It's totally different from the rest of their catalog. The beats are totally different. It's more of a hip hop style. There's a lot of West Coast influence on it. You could tell that Saint grew up a huge fucking West Coast hip hop fan. There's all kinds of references throughout the album. D-Lo, man, that's the one thing I noticed in the listening party, because I always think of that album as Saint, man. D-Lo hang right with Saint in those fucking songs, man. D-Lo was so fucking good on this album. And like I said, I've owned it fucking 5 times. I thought it was super dope. And it really like opened a new genre of shit for me to listen to. Because like Luke was talking about, I was strictly like psychopathic juggalo shit. And this band had the fucking approval of ICP. They were touring with them, fucking getting shouts out and shit like that. So I immediately connected with them. It was the second tattoo I got. I got fucking the Hatchet Man in like 99. I got the Cottonmouth Kings logo in like 2000. So it's the second band that I connected to the most to fucking put them on my skin for the rest of my life. So the motherfuckers got to be on my list. I'll put them at the one spot because I still bumped that CD twice since the listening party.
Nice tonight, like DJ Quick. Fire. Yeah. All right, the one for me, personally, my favorite Psychopathic Records album ever made. We talking about 2001. Tales from the Lotus Pod.
And they wanted to know if I would trade 10 Juggalos for 100 mainstream fans. Yeah. And I said I wouldn't trade 10 Juggalos for 100,000 mainstream fans. 10 Juggalos is priceless.
I got love for my homies, members of the Lotus. United we stand, squashing all deadly forces. Been to hell, could have spent eternity there. All the bad shit I done, I should still be there. Juggalos, can you feel me? Worldwide, running with a hatchet straight out the Lotus Pod. Always got your back till the end, screaming Juggalo. Dark Lotus, psychopathic, that's the way you go.
So many people in the matrix die alone, hey. Not me, my soul belongs to Juggalos, they keep me going when I'm down and out. I pick the phone up, drop them a line and hear them shout, saying Twisted is the shit, and I'm down with the clown. Dark Lotus for life until I'm dead in the ground. I give a dap to all my homies and killers who get it started. All my Juggalos always represent for the departed. Yeah.
Mass murder makes me happy.
Dead bodies make me happy.
Say what you will of me, I'll always have Juggalo family.
Mass murder makes me happy.
Dead bodies make me happy.
Say what you will of me, I'll always have Juggalo family.
6 individual petals form from one stem. They tryna ride a wave and don't follow any trend. Cause we ascend from the dirt, filth, grit and grind. Make a bind, Juggalo minds to crush, make some shines. What's yours is mine, and what's mine is yours. Let the wagons of the dark carnival show you different worlds. Any hoes front at Juggalos or the hatchet, tell them come suck on your dick. We psychopathic.
All my life I've been living it all alone. I'm like a king with no people and no crown or a throne. And what I'm speaking on is what I'm feeling like. Do you know what it's like to feel the warmth of the sunlight? I'd really like to know, cause I've been chilling in the dark for so many years that I question love in my heart. I hate everyone and I hate everything except for all the Juggalos and all the love that they bring.
Mass murder makes me happy.
Dead bodies make me happy.
Say what you will of me, come on, I'll always have Juggalo family.
Mass murder makes me happy.
Dead bodies make me happy.
Say what you will of me, I'll always have Juggalo family.
Excellent. Released at the Toledo Gathering 2001, the same time as Ride and Dirty, man. That's a fucking Juggalo Christmas.
Straight up.
Alibaba, I Wanna Die, fucking Headache. Come on, bro. Excellent album. No skips for me. Hurt Myself, my first song on here. Dog. Going back and forth, just murdering shit lyrically. This album is a fucking masterpiece. Not just Juggalo shit of all time, one of my favorites. This is my favorite. No, after Do You Believe in God from Nod is my favorite Wicked Shit album of all time. Number 2 is Tales from the Lotus Pod. Hands down.
It's funny you said
this in my world too.
It's funny you talked about it being released at the Gathering in 2001. And we're on Fago Lovers, and it made me think of that's what blew Fago Lovers up. Scotty and his homie got that fucking album at the Gathering. I think his homie lived in like an hour or two away. So instead of like, you know, going to a hotel or whatever that night and sleeping and coming back the next day, they went to that dude's fucking house and put it on his computer and put it up for streaming on Fago Lovers. And I remember Scotty saying they had to get a bigger server after that because it just blew them out of the fucking water. So that album's huge for the fucking Fago Lovers network that we're sitting on right now. So without that album, this shit might not be going on right now.
My OG homie Siznak said he remember getting it at the Gathering and just sitting down with the earphones, bumping it, and said everybody was talking about it.
That's what they told you to do on the website, or maybe even in the booklet, like put it on in the dark with headphones and listen to it. So a lot of people listen to it with the headphones. And it's gotta be the red version.
Yep, only red in my eyes.
Yeah. That's funny because me and Brandon were actually just looking into what happened to Mars the other day.
Oh,
like
shit.
literally just yesterday we were looking into Mars, and now he's like preaching the gospel and stuff. It's really funny because he's the one who brought the wicked shit to that record. He's the one that brought the real voodoo, the real fucking like black arts shit to that record. So it's really funny that now he's like preaching on YouTube. You can go look him up right now. It's really kind of funny.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
He released that diss song. We watched that. I remember that was big news back in the day.
I'm the real Dark Lotus.
Mars killed this record. He body bagged.
Oh yeah,
he's the best one on the album.
Yes, I would say Jamie.
He's the most familiar with the material. Like he's the one that's knocking all the references out, like Joe Black does on fucking Zool Records. Like that's what I would say Mars did. He's the one that's got all them references because, like Luke said, he brought that shit into the group. He came from Ministry. Like Lane Staley was a fan of Ministry, and that dude was in that fucking band. It's fucking crazy.
He has like that.
He was kind of weird because he was like blowing up back then. Like I remember Juggalos were listening to that record he put out, and then he just like kind of fucking disappeared forever.
His
he
voice
found
is
God,
like
I guess.
Horrorcore Pac. That's what it sounds like. You got that Pacness to him. This shit's fire, bro. I love this record so much.
Me and Luke, when we were looking at the old disc video and what he's doing now, me and him was pondering, like, I wonder what would have happened if he would have actually stayed with Psychopathic after that fucking Lotus album dropped, because every Juggalo loved his performance. Like, that dude might have been like what Blaze is now. He might have had a career 25 years fucking later because of how good that fucking performance was on Tales from the Lotus Pod.
A Mars solo record on Psychopathic would be a 5 mic. There's no denying that, I think.
Yeah, I think he would have blown the fuck up if he would have stayed, because Jay wanted to sign him. That's why they broke up. He wouldn't leave his current record label like he said he was going to during the recording of Dark Lotus. So that's the reason that he ended up leaving the label and them getting in a beef and everything. So, but man, if he'd have made the decision to go with Psychopathic, I think he'd probably still be sitting on somebody's fucking record label right now, like making money.
Right.
All right, my number one. I don't. Probably might not be a surprise. I know Mike likes this record. It's Cage, Movies for the Blind.
Bitches say I hate you, Cage, after circle jerks. I wash my hands off and do dirt. Sick with a smirk, plus happy to stir. Fuck the first 2 bitches like dogs, and I jacked off on the third. I'm obvious oblivion, but that's my science. Fuck your head up like cornrows put in by blind giants. Haven't been with it since the last corpse kidded. Wore a bloodstained smile and told the cop he did it. Of course, the most raw throughout the 914 10940. Got you be shook like Doc Moro. Pour beer out for yourself because you're walking dead. I'll burn your house down like a fucking talking head, and get high like fuck and pick apart my brain. Dissections made mentally cause infections. Break you with inventions, sick intentions. Leave most MCs lost in my sentence. I'm strictly be on it back, come and get me. Hemotoken left from a lick like a hickey. Leak smoke got me ready to murder a rookie. Killers on your block tucking they dicks like Tootsie. Come and witness what your shit miss. Watch the Glock kiss. Little sis wetter like a Baptist. Inconvenience, dilemma like sitting on Venus with no shuttle, treeless. Try and pick apart some major orange perception. Catch frontal lobe damage and not manage correction.
I fucking love this record. It was a killer debut for Cage. Like, it's probably his best record. He put out a couple good ones after this, but Movies for the Blind is so fucking, like, I found him back in the day, back on the horrorcore.com forums, which I've talked about before. I think Agent Orange, like the single was available online, like the MP3. And I remember hearing it. I love Clockwork Orange. So when I fucking heard that, I was like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, this is fucking crazy. And then I ended up buying the record. He's done some other crazy shit. Like I said, Agent Orange, Suicidal Failure, CK1, Teenage Death, Escape to 88 is really fucking dope. This dude's like a straight lyricist on this record. He'd make so many fucking crazy like references and shit. He's one of those guys where like you hear the song and every time you hear the song you like hear something new, like that it like connects and you're like, oh shit, like this is what the fuck he's saying. So fucking dope. If you haven't heard it, I highly suggest you go check it out. If you know Cage from like he was on one of the Psychopathic ciphers, like that's like the Cage I don't listen to. So I highly suggest you check this record out. It's fucking dope. The first 3, I think it's Hell's Winter, and I think the other one was like called like Stony Lodge or some shit like that. That record's dope as well. So I'd recommend checking out all 3 of those.
I'm against the machine like rage. Bitches say I hate you, Cage, after Circle Jerks.
Yeah, so fucking dope.
I was wondering what album Luke was going to have at 1 after not having Carnival Carnage at 1. I was like, damn, I can't even think of it.
Mike knows I love that record, so I don't know if he knew that was what. I don't know if he knew that was what was ready to come out or not. But yeah, it's fucking fire.
Amazing.
Pretty dope fucking list from everybody. It was fun going through like the criteria. Like I forgot about Royal Highness the first time I wrote my list, and then I think either like the listening party came up on my playlist or I played Royal Highness, and I was like, wait a minute, this is a debut. So my number 1 I'd forgotten about originally. So that's what this whole show's fun for, man. It's like going back in the time machine. You start remembering all the fucking memories you have for all these fucking songs. Like Mike was talking about when we was talking about Blades. He's like, man, I smoked a blunt with that motherfucker in 2004.
Yeah.
Like, it's just dope going back through all those fucking memories, man. Before we get out of here, some honorable mentions I have on my list. Start off with Kung Fu Vampire, Dead Sexy. It was the album he had just released whenever he went on the Slaughterhouse tour with Twisted. And he was so dope on stage, man, that I picked up that album, and so did my homie. And we both enjoyed that fucking album as soon as we listened to it. I think it's got his like biggest hit on it. The Dead Girls Don't Say No or something like that. Like that's one of his big time hits. And that was on there. That was one of the ones that really started bumping because he was so dope on stage when he came out to perform with Twisted. And to like win fans over, he had to like, because a lot of people, they see that name and they're like, what the fuck is this? And then like it's like a fucking white dude with a fucking bald head looking like a fucking vampire coming out on stage. And this motherfucker starts rapping. And literally the dude I was wrote the show with, his name's Beans. He's a big Tech 9 fan. He looked at me, he's like, this is like a little white Tech 9 on stage. Like, where the fuck this dude come from? I ain't never heard of him. And he went and bought the album, and I did too. And I dug the album, so I'll put that on honorable mentions. One that I didn't think like would really fit the category or fit into like a Juggalo fucking album, but I do remember when it came out, like Juggalos were like literally listing like the clipping tape, like the promo tape that came out before it on like their Angel Fire, like horrorcore fucking stash and shit. Fucking Slim Shady LP by Eminem. That's a fucking horrorcore album in my opinion. Yeah. And I didn't want to put it in my top 5 because, like I said, I don't know if you can technically, because it got so much more fucking press than all these other albums. It'd be hard to fucking rank it against all these other ones. But I wanted to get it mentioned because, like I said, I remember back in the Angel Fire days when that shit came out in '99, like they had that clip tape, like it was like the preview of it. I remember people had that listed with like their fucking ICP Twisted, and Eminem was right on there. He's from Detroit, so people was collecting him until that beef popped off. So I at least wanted to get him mentioned. The UGA EP is only an EP, so can't really put that on there. That fucking thing like really took over the fucking underground for a little while. We talked about it on the awards show after Dark Lotus had went away. People were looking for a group to get behind, and like UGA was the first one that Buckshot put out that really connected, and I think kept leading to the ones that he's putting out. And speaking of EPs that didn't make it because they're EPs, Misery Paralelisa, like that's just an EP, but that fucking album is so fucking good. It almost made my list as an EP. I was just gonna say, fuck it, it's so good. I don't care if it's missing tracks that doesn't match up with the number of tracks of making an LP. First time I heard it was on the Psychopathic 98 sampler. Like ICP takes over a radio station, basically kills the DJ, and then starts playing fucking psychopathic tracks. And they played Stimulated Dome, and I was like, damn man, this fucking shit sounds like New York hip hop. So I was down with it immediately. I wanted to get that one a shout out. And then when we were discussing if it was even eligible, how do you fit a cassette into a discography? Because not actually technically the first debut album, Super Famous, but the only one that actually exists. It's the first one that actually exists that you can listen to. So I'll give that one a shout out to. Anybody else got any honorable mentions?
Of course, we got to go with ABK, man. Hatchet Warrior.
I was going to say Hatchet Warrior, yeah.
Fucking love that record. That's about it.
Yeah. Project Born.
Oh,
Born Dead.
Hell yeah.
I see you got the Cabal back there. I didn't even think about the Cabal record, the Cabal, but yeah, that counts, I guess. Yeah.
Double Dragon, another good one that could have been on the list. Yeah, for sure. Bunch of dope debuts. It was fun going through. If you think we left any off our list, or you got one you just want to shout out yourself, put it in the comments. Got any ideas for any upcoming show ideas? Put that in the comments. Also, you can check out the Goon's Gallery shirts. Those will be linked in the description. $19.99 t-shirts, $25.99 long sleeve tees, and $29.99 hoodies. Till next time, I'm the Jokerz Gallery. You just watch 5-Piece. We out this motherfucker.
Every day I die. Back to the start, another try. I got the time, so why shouldn't I? Every day I die. Back to the start, another try. I got the time, so why shouldn't I? I've got too much time on my hands. Got too much time.